What's going on, Braves Country? Coming up this week on the Braves Beach House podcast, we start off with our newest friend Palmer as he stops by the show to catch up with Patrick. Then we're joined by Braves legend and alumni Dale Murphy as he shares stories from his playing career. And we'll wrap it up with an interview with our friends from Karate in the Garage before their Sweetwater Extra Innings post-game concert. All that and more ahead on this episode of the Braves Beach House podcast. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Braves Beach House podcast. I'm Harrison. Unfortunately, our co-host, MC Patrick's a little sick from too many Skillet cookies yesterday, so he can't join us for our game recap. But you know what? We're going to mix it up a little bit and do my top 5 Harrison highlights from the past week here at Cooladay Park. All right, let's go ahead and get started with number 1. This Sunday, we had the Yankees here at Cooladay Park, and many of you Braves Country watch us on FanDuel Sports Network and across the globe on MLB.tv, so we appreciate you tuning in and watching us. Great game, Braves winning 11-1. Kids run the bases after the game was a great time. Standing room only, the ballpark was packed and buzzing, and we had a great time with you. Also on Saturday, this brings me to number 2 on our list, we had a Sweetwater post-game concert, Extra Innings concert series, our first one, and it was a great time on the plaza with our friends from Karate in the Garage. The stage was rocking for 2 hours after first pitch, so it was a great time. Next up on the list was baseball in a brunch. We had brunch in our Terrace Club on the third base side as well as in our Lecom Legends Club. And for the next couple of Sundays in the Terrace Club, you'll be able to also take part in baseball and brunch with a bottomless Bloody Mary and screwdriver bar, breakfast biscuits, and much, much more. Number 4 was Fred McGriff, the crime dog, was here as our first base coach. He also delivered the lineup in a special ceremony before the game one day this week. So it was great to have Crime Dog here around at Cooladay Park. And finally, let's wrap it up with number 5, our good friend Palmer. And you know, this is one of my favorite traditions. He's not getting watered by the grounds crew before every game. You know, how else is he going to plant his roots here and keep on growing with the fans if he's not getting watered? So that's my top 5 highlights, and Patrick will be joined by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Palmer, right after this.
That's right, another episode of the Braves Beach House podcast, and the hits just keep on coming. Ladies and gentlemen, Cooladay Park's brand new mascot, we are honored to introduce and have on the podcast the one and only, the handsome and talented, it's Palmer. Palmer, if you could turn a little bit this way, please, for me, would be good. We're looking forward to this interview here with you today. You have planted your roots with us here in Venice, Florida. And easy on the microphone, Palmer. Okay, all right. Great job so far. Off to a good start here with our friend Palmer. Are you becoming familiar with your new surroundings and your new soil? That's right. Day by day, piece by piece, it keeps expanding. We keep growing at Cooladay Park. Absolutely. You know, most folks don't realize, Palmer, that your species is a giving tree. We're talking about the fruit that you bear. We're talking about the fermented sap. I do understand there's a thing called some palm wine. Palmer might have his own brand of wine before this thing's said and done with. I've had a couple salads in my day, but they've had a little bit of heart of palm in them. You encompass that as well, don't you? Palmer, we've been asking everybody here at spring training, what could the young ones do to make sure they get to their first spring training? And for the players that are already here, what could they do to better prepare themselves? Mental toughness is important, absolutely. And cooking pasta and lifting each other up. Absolutely. Those are great takes on that, Palmer. Now, do we have a favorite concession item here at Cooladay Park? Any coconut water you like, or skillet cookie maybe? Oh, Palmer likes the cold beer. Out of the beer vat? Yep, I think so. 26 ounces of cold liquid goodness right here at Cooladay Park. Palmer, you also have some bootleg merchandise going on. How's that avenue stream going for you? Dollar bills, y'all. That's what Palmer has to. And it's clean merchandise, too. I really like it. And Palmer, did you realize there's over 2,600 different species of palm trees? It's a lot of family members. We hope to see you around at your 100th birthday party because palm trees have been known to live up to 100 years. That's pretty exciting. Well, we have something even better planned for you, though, Palmer. We've got a mascot party coming to your way March 16th. That's right, it's going to be in the field suite before the spring breakout game against the Detroit Baby Tigers. Palmer, you got some friends coming for that. It's going to be a buffet. It is going to be a whole lot of fun. What friends are you bringing? I see that you're going to be bringing Blooper. You're going to be bringing Chopper from the Gwinnett Stripers. Hey, there's Swampy. He's going to be coming. And there's our guy Julius as well. That's right, it's going to be a mascot party, Palmer's breakout party for the spring breakout game March 16th. You're not going to want to miss that. All kinds of craziness and shenanigans. Well, Palmer, we've enjoyed having you here today on the Braves Beach House podcast. You've been an outstanding guest. For all of our guests here on the Braves Beach House podcast, Palmer, you get a little gift. T-shirt cannon, where are you? Heads up, Palmer. Good catch. Oh, and look here, Palmer. I even got one of yours here today. That's right, official palm frond of Cool Today Park. All right, Palmer, say it with me. Go Braves! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Braves Beach House podcast. Truly having an MVP season here like our next guest did 2 times. Braves country, can you believe it? The one, the only, number 3, Mr. Dale Murphy.
Thank you.
The crowd goes wild. Thank you so much for being in the podcast studio with us this morning. Today is our opening day of spring training right here at Cool Today Park. And we have a special guest throwing out the first pitch. How's the arm feel?
Oh, not good. I might have to drop kick it there. I know I can't throw 60 feet, so I'll get close enough to where I can hopefully keep it airborne.
We'll look forward to a good strike coming for you, and I know the fans are going to be excited to see you out there. What a way to kick off the 2025 spring training season.
Thank you.
Have several questions for you today. Yeah. We appreciate you making the time for us.
Thanks for having me.
You know, you're only one of 14 players in MLB history to win back-to-back MVP awards, and of course they were part of a sustained stretch of excellence, and that includes at the plate, in the field, all around. Are you following the stats as they pile up? Can you remember back then, or is it just tunnel vision, one at bat at a time, and then you look up, you have 40 homers, 130 walks, and then some hardware for the trophy case?
Yeah, it just kind of happens. You're not really obviously baseball is just a pitch-to-pitch game, and I think sometimes as players that's the challenge, is to take it pitch by pitch. And if you're thinking too much about what might happen, you know, especially when I won in '82, I was like, well, you know, what am I going to do in '83? I mean, this is kind of like, you know, I'd never experienced anything like this. So you kind of get that tunnel vision. I think that's the best way to put it. Is what I remember is that, okay, I won the most valuable player, so how am I going to, you know, take this in, and I just remember saying to myself, okay, you got to use this as motivation. In other words, off season, I gotta work harder. I got to be ready to go. I got to be in better shape. So you just kind of use it, and then if it happens, and it ended up happening again, and so you know, it's really, you know, '82 and '83 were 2 of my best years, obviously, but I meant to say we were playing well, right? You know, and things happen when a team plays well. Right. It just was a lot of fun. We made the playoffs in '82, close in '83, so it was just a fun time as a team, and I was just coming into my own. So it did kind of happen instead of really thinking about it. It just kind of accumulates.
The whole group was locked in.
Yeah, you're going to the ballpark, you figure it's like this team right now, the Braves. you're going to win. You're going there to win. You're going to win somehow.
That's right.
And, you know, back in my day, we had some years when you weren't sure you're going to win, and that's tougher to play. But when you have that mindset, the mentality, the culture that, you know, we're in the hunt. Right from the get-go. It's easier to play, and it was easier for me to play.
Fun being competitive. Good things
Absolutely.
happen when you're in
I
that
mean,
mindset.
the crowd, everything. It's just there's a buzz, and I've experienced both. It's definitely, you know, like people say, it's a lot more fun fishing when you're catching fish.
Absolutely.
So,
That's a great.
I got a
there.
trivia question though for you. You mentioned, did you say 14 guys had been
right.
back to back? This is kind of a weird thing. When I won it in '83 back to back, I was the 9th player.
Okay.
One at each position.
Oh, wow. How about that?
That is a really weird
How
thing.
about
And
that?
now you're
Yeah.
going to ask me if I can name them all.
No.
No, I can.
Let's go. Let's
Because
hear
I
it.
ask people all the time. But think about that. It's so weird that when I won it in '83, there were 9 of us who had done it, one at each position. Now, so
Wow.
you're thinking, wait a minute, a pitcher got back-to-back MVPs. Well, that's the tricky one that a lot of people don't get. Because as you go around the infield, people get it. Now I'm going to mess up. I've already forgot. Okay, shortstop was Ernie Banks.
Okay.
The second baseman was Joe Morgan.
Right.
The first baseman was. Do we have time? Are we okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We love hearing this.
First baseman is tricky, but Jimmy Fox.
Okay.
Catcher, got any idea who it might be? Anybody in the crowd out there? Yogi. And then I forgot the third baseman, didn't I? It was Mike Schmidt. The outfielders were me, Mantle, and Maris.
How about that? Pretty good company.
So that's
there.
8. So the one that you always got to keep in your back pocket that people won't get, even if they get the previous 8, is Hal Newhouser with the New York Yankees, because back then pitchers got the MVP.
Right.
And now they typically, although they could win an MVP, it's typically they get the Cy Young.
Right.
And the MVP goes to usually an everyday player. So just a little trivia for you, but now there's been 14.
And what great company! All those
I
players.
was
What a team that would have been.
very honored, and yeah, it's. I look back and it seems like yesterday, and it seems like a million years ago. At the same time, it's really a weird thing.
Well, speaking some of the yesteryear, what was it like playing under Coach Joe Torre? I know Braves country and baseball
yeah.
fans kind of want to know some of that insight. Did he keep it even keel?
Yeah, he was good. I mean, he really started coming into his own when he came here, and obviously I had my best years under Joe. I loved to play for him. Back then, too, I was talking to someone about this today. The managers would get more involved in the hitting. We had hitting coaches, but if you know, and Joe was a good hitter, won a batting title, and we had some similar styles. Kind of a taller person and you know, a little bit bigger strike zone. He didn't strike out as much as I did, but he really related to me well and talked to me a lot about, you know, trying to hit the ball the other way and things like that. And he really helped me. So yeah, it was great playing for Joe. A lot of people, especially Yankee fans, forget that that his history. And unfortunately, things didn't work out for him and Ted Turner. Something happened because we played well 82, 83, 84, and then I think he was fired after that. But anyway, loved to play for Joe and what he did with the Yankees, and his career is remarkable. And I think he showed kind of early in the early '80s what he was going to do as a manager when he
and Braves country loves Joe.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be remiss if we didn't
guy.
talk just a little bit about July 4th, 1985, the Rick Camp game. It has its own Wikipedia page. 90-minute rain delay, right? And then we go 19 innings, 6 full hours of regular season baseball, ending at 4 in the morning. They still set the fireworks off at 4 in the morning in Atlanta. Park gets in trouble. Probably something we'll never see again with the new rule, with the runner being added on second base. 19 innings, that's a haul. You went 1 for 8 with a double and a couple of walks, knocking in 3 of the Braves' 13 runs. You played again the next day and went 0 for 4. You might have been a little tired after the 19.
Gosh, that's a rough 2 games. 1 for 12. At least I got that one in that extra inning game, July 4th game. So it's so funny. We got the greatest home run hitter, in baseball, and one of the most famous home runs in Braves history is from Rick Camp.
Right.
No, it's just a crazy circumstance. You're right. It'll never happen again, especially the way they can read the weather and everything. I mean, you know what else happened in that game? Keith Hernandez hit for the cycle.
That's right.
But I don't think he got it, because you got to hit it in 9 innings. You got to play in 9 innings.
Okay, we were talking about that, saying why isn't it called the Keith Hernandez game?
Yeah, that's true. I think he hit for the cycle. I hit for the opposite cycle. No, it's fun. People come up to me all the time and ask me about it. It's funny to watch the videos. You can go on YouTube, and the most funny thing is Gary Carter waving the outfielders in. Mm-hmm. When Rick Camp comes up, and we were as stunned as anyone.
Right. Because
we saw Rick take BP, every day. Pitchers took BP every day back then.
Wow, yeah.
And he couldn't hit. I mean, he just was not a good hitter.
That night he must have had a good meal.
It's fun to watch the replay of that because we're all stunned.
That's great.
Yeah.
We wanted to talk maybe about who your favorite pitcher was to face, and maybe not in terms of success, but maybe in terms of a challenge you had at the plate against one of those pitchers.
Well, yeah, it doesn't take long for me to say Nolan Ryan.
Right.
And a great documentary out about him now, Facing Nolan. So you just, you don't like it at the time. You're like, I guess in retrospect, it's like, yeah, I'm glad I got to face Nolan so I can talk about it.
Right.
But it wasn't fun at the time. But the other guys that I think about, most of the big names in the 80s were, I just didn't do that well against. Hershiser, I faced him in the middle of his scoreless inning streak, which it got into 70 innings. I think I faced him twice. I mean, we played the Dodgers twice in the middle of his consecutive scoreless inning streak. There were some relievers, Dibble, Suter, Lee Smith. The closers were really hard for me to hit. That's why they're closers. But J.R. Richard, who a lot of people from back then will remember, career cut short. He survived a stroke, tried to come back, but you look at his numbers in 78, 79, and 80, and they're remarkable, striking out 300 guys, I think, one year, or at least 270 and above. And a lot of people don't remember this, but I faced Maddox. I'm just glad we weren't in the same division back then. I faced him when he was a kid, so to speak, with Chicago, and I didn't do very well against Greg Maddox. I'll tell you that. I was like, man, I look back, I'm glad I wasn't in the Eastern Division back then.
Right. Well, it's kind of a twofold question here. We always like to talk to the youngsters and to even the first-time players at spring training. Any advice you would get to the ones that will hopefully be at their first spring training one day, and then advice for players maybe going through their first spring training?
It's kind of the same. It's the same thing. I would tell a rookie out here on the field today for the Braves the same thing I'd tell someone who's 10 years old. You're really lucky to put on a uniform and play baseball. A lot of kids can't. And, if you get to play professionally out there on the field, that's, even you should be more grateful because you're really, really unique. So I think that's the one thing is remember, be grateful for the chance. And then, play hard. Right. Show up. Everybody will respect you. Not everybody expects you to get a hit or make every play, but you can show up and play hard, and that's kind of the way you show your gratitude. And then the other thing is be a good teammate. Yep. Because this is a game where you mess up quite a bit. You don't get a hit every time, so you need teammates. Right. You need to be a good teammate. Yep. People will like to play with you. People will want you on your team. Obviously you want to think about yourself and your performance, but there's plenty of times where you can get outside of yourself and help others.
Sure.
Be a good teammate.
A lot of games, that clubhouse support is
a lot of games.
very important.
And especially, the higher you go, the more games you go.
For sure.
And that means, the more times you mess up. Watch the highlights, at night. I mean,
Sure.
You mess up a lot. You need someone there to, to
Pick
keep
you
going.
up and then celebrate with you too.
And celebrate. Be the first teammate to celebrate. I like to tell young kids, watch after a guy makes a good play out here in the field or hits a home run. I mean, nobody sits back and ignores him.
Right.
Everybody is in that dugout. And even if the play happened a few minutes earlier, it was a good defensive play. As soon as that guy comes in, guys are fist bumping
Yep.
him.
A lot of energy for him, yeah.
And that helps create that energy,
Yeah.
not only when you do something well, but when you do something
Absolutely.
you mess up. You need guys to say, hey, you're okay.
Pick you up.
Pick them up. Pick them up.
Now, the game has changed an awful lot. We all know that. How do we think Murph would have done in this analytical age? Do you think that would have changed anything if you were playing in the modern era on how you approached it?
I'm glad I didn't play during social media, the era of social media, because I made talk about mistakes. I mean, I'm so glad some of my highlights or lowlights from the minor leagues, especially,
Right.
were not blasted all over the world.
Right.
But no, analytics, you can't argue with if it's math or whatever, but there's a blend. You got to blend it. And I think I probably would have taken in, what you can take in. You just can't, you can't do everything analytically in an athletic situation. You got to have a lot of feel.
Mm-hmm.
You can't lose that feel. You can't be robotic. And a lot of it is your mental state of mind. If you get too mixed up on analytics, you can't think about what you're supposed to think about
Right.
when you're out there. Especially with hitting, you only have a quarter of a second or something.
Right.
And even now, it's even less. Got a lot more harder throwers.
Sure.
So I think I would have adjusted to it. I think I would have adjusted to the pitching, but even as an old timer, I like to say I think it's tougher to hit now. There are a lot more hard throwers and a lot more guys like Nolan Ryan now. Really,
Yeah.
when you think about it.
A lot of heat.
Not as good as Nolan, but guys with that velocity.
Right.
Makes it harder to hit. A lot of cutters, which is a pitch I didn't see a lot in my career.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have adjusted, but I think it's harder to hit now.
Right.
I really respect the hitters now.
Right.
They're putting up good numbers. So it's just a different era, but I love the game. I love the rules changes, and I think I don't have any inside information, but we're going to see some more rules changes.
Okay.
I think baseball is not done. They're looking at a lot of things, and
We're still watching it evolve and grow.
yeah, it's going to evolve. We should have evolved earlier. We should have got rid of the DH in the National League. I don't like the DH, but we should have unified that a long time ago.
Right.
It's part of the game. So I think baseball now is being a lot more progressive, which I think we need to be.
That's a great answer. We get to the point here, which is my favorite topic. We get talked a little bit about food. We want to know, what's your favorite ballpark concession item? And also, we've had the cheese curds at Murph's.
Good.
Is there any chance we might see a little Murph's at Cool Today Park, or spreading the Murph's love around?
That's a great idea. I know they're not done building here. There's all kinds of things going on around here. I would love to have a Murph's here. I don't have an announcement, but I would love to do it here.
That'd be fun.
We've had fun.
I wish we had your cheese curds at the ballpark.
Yeah, maybe we just do the cheese curds. And favorite ballpark? Is that ballpark food?
Concession item. We got the skillet cookie now. We got the bottomless nachos.
Well, I'm an old bottomless nachos. That sounds good. Right about now. I'm old school, and I hate to mention the Los Angeles Dodgers, but that Dodger dog is pretty good.
Well, you got to try one from Dogs and Burgers here today after you throw out a
will.
strike
Okay,
on
we'll
the
do
first
it.
pitch.
We'll do it.
Braves country, what an honor it was to have Murph in the building. Murph, every time we have a podcast guest, we have a little gift for him. Bring out that T-shirt cannon. Marshall's on the T-shirt cannon today. Great catch there, Murph. He's out. You're in. You got a first pitch to throw out here. Braves Beach House podcast in Braves country. Thank you for all the wonderful years of memories for Atlanta Braves, and we look forward to seeing you throw out the first pitch today. That's a wrap with Mr. Dale Murphy. Go Braves! All right, party on the plaza is in full effect here. Our first party on the plaza. That's right, Karate in the Garage is with us today. It is the top of the 9th inning. Fans are about to start coming out, and we're going to get a quick interview in with the band before we get cranked up. Nick, how we been, man? It's nice to see you.
We've been good. Love it here. Cool today.
Yep, Nick plays the Tiki Bar some, plays the Plaza with us. We haven't gotten you on a national anthem yet, but we're going to have to do so.
Yes.
We had our friend Jeff Ramsey do it today. He did a great job. He did. There we go. Keith just signed up. So who would say is the biggest baseball fan of the bunch?
I don't know. I'm a Tigers fan. We had a good run when I was a kid.
Padres and Diamondbacks.
We love the Braves.
Diamondbacks?
Sorry.
Die-hard Cubs.
The Cubs. Who booked these guys? No,
Today, it's the Braves.
Today we're all
That's right.
We're all Braves fans.
They know where they're at, and they know what they're representing here down in Braves country with us. They do a great job with their live set. They play covers. I think some originals are sprinkled in there as well. And they play all over town and are just an awesome band and a great group of guys. So it's an honor to have you here. Today, what do you think we're going to hear on maybe the first couple songs? Can you give me a teaser before our folks come out of down the gate?
Start kind of islandy. I don't know. Margaritaville will probably be in there.
Absolutely.
Maybe 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, go down to Buffettville.
Yeah.
Perfect. We're going to let these guys get tuned up, but not before they give me a quick go Braves on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go Braves!
Hey, no shoes, no shirt, no problem.
What a show this week here on the Braves Beach House podcast. Coming up this week here at Cool Day Park. Today, if you're watching us on Tuesday, the Minnesota Twins are visiting us here at Cool Day Park. Game time is at 1:05. Thursday, it's our night game, first night game of the season. The Miami Marlins are making the drive from the East Coast over here to the West Coast of Florida. And 6:05 first pitch for that. Tickets are on sale now. Saturday, we have another edition of our Extra Innings concert series after the Pittsburgh Pirates game at 1:05 p.m. Post-game concerts will be the Five and Dime Boys for 2 hours after the game on the Sweetwater stage on the Plaza. So be sure to join us for that. All that and more ahead this week at Cool Day Park. We'll see you next week right here on the Braves Beach House podcast. And I can't do it without Patrick, so I'll just say see you next time, and let's go Braves.